Kevin, thank you very much for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Kevin and I have known each other for many decades. We worked together at a different consulting company besides Deloitte. But Kevin, for the audience here, why don't you give a little bit about your background, so help credentialize yourself here on the topics you'll talk about.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And good morning, everybody. My name's Kevin Prendeville, Senior Partner at Deloitte. And I have been working in the PLM space for about 30 years. I'm based here in Denver, which was nice to drive my car to someplace besides the airport for a change. So thrilled to be here. My journey in digital threads started in 1995. So that sounds like a long time ago when I say it. And what I did was I worked at an aircraft company in Wichita for 2 years, and we put in a whole new end-to-end process, how we modify their product development activities, their manufacturing. And then we enabled this with 3D design, a PLM tool that did EBOM and MBOM management with a variable modular BOM, integrated that to MES, integrated that to ERP. So again, that was in 1995. I didn't really appreciate, I think, how good of a project that was. And since then, for the last 30 years, I've been basically doing the same thing. I've been working with engineering and manufacturing clients to look at processes, look at data, look at systems, look at tools, and help them find efficiency and effectiveness out there. Client-wise, most of the discrete world I've worked in, so everything from toys to apparel and footwear and retail, consumer products, med products, high-tech, semiconductor, auto, and aerospace. So it's been an awesome journey. I've done that all around the world, different size clients in Europe and Asia and here. So thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks. So you've obviously lots of great experience, lots of great clients, and I know we worked with some high-tech clients together back in the day.
Yep.
So Kevin, why don't you maybe start with kind of what's your perspective on state of manufacturing, kind of what's going on in the industry, trends, et cetera. What are you seeing with your clients?
Yeah, I see them wrestling with 3 challenge sets. So if I put them into buckets, bucket 1 is what I'd consider business as usual. So that is, we have a limited R&D budget, we have a limited amount of engineering capacity, we need to bring great products to market faster, get all the regulatory needs, and the competition is just ratcheting it up, every year. So that's kind of bucket 1 of challenges, which is the business as usual challenges. What I'm seeing in many industries is a challenge around the product evolving itself or how they take it to market. So back in the day, most products were mostly mechanical, and they were mostly sold as an each. You just bought one, and I'll take it. Now what we're seeing is many of our clients, the product is embedded in some type of consumption model, subscription model, some way that they pay for it as a utility, and the product is in it. So the offer is changing. And then what I also see is the content of the product is dramatically changing. So again, it maybe was mostly mechanical 20 years ago. You add electrical, embedded software, sensors, maybe a secondary app to help configure it or use it, maybe some telemetry because you want to track how much it's used. But what you're trying to design and engineer and manage has also gone broadly. And then I think the third challenge, you hit on it earlier today, which was what I call kind of the chaos du jour, which is, you have an engineering, supplier, manufacturing, customer base around the world, which gives you great leverage. However, it also exposes you to all the mayhem that's out there. So, these are the 3 challenge sets I see. And I think the countermeasure that most of our clients are going through is, how do I connect that product data better? How do I become more agile so I can react to what's happening? And to be more agile, I need to, 1, understand where things are. 2, be able to quickly scenario plan, should I change this, change this, change this, change that? And 3, then execute when it makes sense. So that connected product data, the platform like you have, is a key component.
Great. And maybe let's just segue to the technology side. You've been doing PLM almost before we were calling it PLM back in the day. So you've seen lots of waves of change and some also things which have stayed remarkably the same over the years. But as you look now, kind of the state of PLM, what do you see as things are evolving today?
Yeah, I think, if I'd asked my kids and talk about the 90s, they assume we were using like stone tablets and like chipping away at them. But if I go back, it was digital thread is kind of the vernacular now, maybe it was PLM before, but it started out for me as product data management. And to me, that was kind of a core of part, BOM, engineering change doc. That was kind of what you were trying to wrestle into existence at the beginning. And what I see happening with the technologies and what clients need is expanding that in different directions. So if you go to one side, it's your portfolio, your product management, your requirements, all your design tools, and making sure that's all connected. And then on the backside flow, you get into quality, manufacturing, routings, if you have products in the field service, and then obviously the feedback from customer usage. So the thread has gotten much wider. The technology platforms and vendors are looking to therefore grab more of that, either ingest it or connect to it. And then as I mentioned in the prior question, it's not just mechanical pieces. So how do I get the software, the mobile apps, the sensors, the telemetry, and then connect that all to the order process? Because if you're not selling it, then you're not making any money.
Right. And of course, we spent some time this morning already talking about AI, and of course I can't have you up here and not talk about AI. But as you think about, and maybe it's first take it from your client's perspective, from manufacturers, kind of how are you seeing manufacturers start to bring kind of AI into either their product design perspective, into production, supply chains? Go ahead and take a dealer's choice there, how you want to pivot.
Yeah, so we're 7 minutes in and AI finally came up. That's a record for me, so that's good. When I think about AI, I think one of the prior speakers mentioned it, a lot of companies are moving from, well, this is kind of neat and powerful, to how do I actually get some business value out of it? Because ultimately we're a business. So when I think about AI and I talk to my clients, I say this AI engine is the most tireless worker you could have, the best researcher and synthesizer in the world, but how are you going to put it to use? And one of the tests I do with my clients is I say, what if I gave you 100 extra people? What would you do with them? How would you use them to make more throughput, more yield of what you do? And what I find is, to do that, they have to do two things. One is they have to really understand their business process. Many of them understand it at an individual department level, but if you look across the thread, they don't understand it. So they need to map that out, because if I map that out, I want to understand where the bottlenecks are, where the risks are.
Right.
And if I took those 100 people, where should I put them in to maximize activity, either to help make better decisions, help execute work, or do the classic shift left of all the DFX type things you tend to catch downstream. Maybe we can move them upstream. So to me, understanding the process is paramount to figure out how do you use these guys, these digital FTEs, so to speak. And then the second thing where things tend to fall down is data, right? I think you mentioned this in your presentation as well, that for AI to work, sure, it can structure unstructured data and so on, but the better your data quality is, the more consistent it is, the more powerful the AI agents can be. So I think there's a lot of foundational work clients need to do, which maybe isn't what they want to hear, because they just want to buy something and make the problem go away. Getting the process understood, getting the data under control to really take advantage of AI.
Great. And as selfishly, maybe for this question here, sure, Kevin, but there's been discussion about the SaaS apocalypse and software companies going away, and we're seeing market values of some companies come down. And obviously there's some categories which are going to be more prone to disruption than others. When you think about core engineering, manufacturing software, PLM and CAD and the like, kind of what's your view of AI and disrupting kind of this market sector?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably a pragmatist by default, given we have to implement technologies to make them work and get business value. So I may be a little bit behind the hype curve in general. But what I see that is AI, like any software, it's a productivity tool, right? So I see it not, some people say it's going to eat software or make that all go away. I don't really see it that way. I see it more as it's an extra feature set. Right? I sell software to make a company more efficient so their employees can get more done with their day. To me, I see AI complementing that so the person can just get even more things done and do them better and faster and make better choices. So to me, I see it almost as almost another module or feature in the software world. So maybe that's a naive view, and I'll be very wrong, but to me, that's a practical way as I think about it.
Well, maybe even doubling down a bit on that, Kevin, when the taking even a more bullish view still, we're talking to a couple very technology-forward companies that have widely embracing AI, and they're talking about Propel, and they're actually, in relative to Propel, they want to bring more users into Propel, not less, because of their AI enabled. And back to this whole discussion of MCP earlier, through MCP, they want to have more people have access to core product data. It's their belief that people in procurement, people in supply chain, people in sales who don't have access to that information are making poor decisions.
Yeah.
And so if they have access to that in a very seamless way that, of course, will make it cost effective for them, but that through that we actually have opportunity to bring even more users into Propel, not less.
I think you're exactly right. And if I think about even just like an engineering change as a concept, right? It used to be is this a better design? Like it's really an engineering mentality towards design this design is better, faster, cheaper, whatever it is. But I think what you're talking about is now when you're doing the change impact and the trade-off analysis, it's a enterprise decision. You're looking at, what are my orders? What are my open POs to buy parts? What's in my inventory? What's in the warranty space? And I can really optimize all of that to make a change or not make a change because it might not actually be worth it.
That's right. And I won't embarrass the participant here with the discussion, but we're talking last night with someone in the audience about their change processes, and this individual participates in as a kind of final change kind of audit review step.
Yeah.
And so he talked about there's 1,000 ECOs a year that he has to look at. And the discussion we saw with Mike and Eric today, that having that change analyzer can really automate that process. A lot of things he's looking for are we doing the wrong things?
Yeah.
Are we not doing what we said we should do relative to change? And we can leverage AI to do those types of things. It allows him to spend more time on value-added tasks and less time having to audit all the ECOs flowing through the enterprise.
I would think that those 1,000 ECOs, there's a percentage of work and study there that is really value-add, and the rest of it is the I hate my job type of work. So I would think these type of things could automate out a lot of that. They could bubble up to say, hey, change boss. These are the ones you should really study. These are the ones I've flagged. Put your energy against these. These other ones are routine. Or as AI may have studied it to say, hey, the benefit from an engineering side is so offset by our install base or our inventory or something. Like we're going to lose money if we make this change. So let's not do it.
Yeah, exactly. Any from your clients today, Kevin? Any kind of stories of a kind of early successes they're seeing with AI and their product development areas, or things that they're piloting that you would kind of call out? And of course, you don't have to name a specific client, but curious what you're seeing in some of your clients.
Yeah, I think it's still, at least for our clients, which tend to be kind of global 2000, they're in experimentation, proof of concept mode a lot. But it's really around those things that I talked about before, which is if AI can do the research for you and synthesize it, what are the decision points along product development or engineering change where you need input to make a better decision? And they're trying to use that to kind of gather up and synthesize data, often from ERP systems, procurement, sales, et cetera, so they have a more educated decision. So there's that. I see a lot of kind of DFX type work, so design for every element of downstream to focus on total cost of ownership. So you're getting, trying to get that brain power.
Yeah.
It's in historically late stage groups getting involved in design. I think we saw that change curve and the costs getting locked in on a prior presentation. How do we get some of that forward so we're making the right optimization end. So these are things that I'm seeing. There's a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of interest, but I think they're still pondering what to do, or they've realized they don't know the process well enough,
Yep.
and they don't have good enough data, so they're doing kind of a boring project to get the data in good shape, to get the process well defined, so then they can understand how to apply those digital FTEs for the maximum impact.
So kind of within those Global 2000, which tend to where a lot of your engagements focus, kind of where do you think we're going to see that first breakthrough for kind of AI and product development? What do you think will stick first across those companies?
So some of the things that you profiled here, I think, are those classic, of if we could only gather more data more quickly to help us make a decision. So that change analyst who goes out and scours the enterprise data and comes back and say, here's the pros and cons of making this change. Or you have another change in the pipe, maybe you want to combine those, or you want to switch them around, or you want to not do it. So to me, that kind of lower level processing, I think, is very much going to be one of the first things people turn on, because it's just that extra researcher on your shoulder helping give you better information.
Yeah, that's great.
But the human is still in the loop, or in the lead, I guess, depending how you want to say that, for these type of things.
Yeah, and I think that's our perspective as well, too, that especially in the world of product development, of quality management, that human in the loop is a really important metaphor that we're designing into our products that we're assuming, and I think broadly we'll see for a while to come, because obviously the implications of a hallucination or something going wrong are dramatic and potentially catastrophic.
Yeah, it's bad for any product, but do you think about regulated industries where human life is at risk? I mean, wow, right? I think we want to be careful to make sure there is a human in the loop, or the lead in those cases.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, that's kind of what we had for Kevin for today. We have actually a couple quick minutes. Are there any from the audience, any questions you were dying to ask a senior partner from Deloitte or other? Keith, I'll repeat it for you. Go ahead.
So how much should we be allocating to be able to research AI tools and the teams to be able to support that in a typical manufacturing environment?
So kind of Keith's question, if everyone can't hear it in the back, was any kind of rule of thumb you think about, given an investment pile today, how much should manufacturers be kind of leaning towards AI projects?
I think it's always a ratio of what you think the benefit is. I know that might be a bit of a cop-out answer.
Sounds like an it depends consulting answer.
It depends consulting answer, yeah. Shockingly, you get an it depends from a guy who's been in consulting for 32 years. But what we do see is if they can use that to maximize uptime, throughput, and so on, the dollar amount in play is usually quite large, right? So putting a couple percentage points against that, I think, is a very prudent investment, because the benefit, if you can gain a few percent points on the backside, is huge money.
Yeah.
It's huge money, not just in internal efficiencies, but also if you can get your products to market, especially if your products are very time sensitive and they tend to obsolete rapidly, or they're tied to some seasonality, that could be make or break, for sure.
The additional piece I would add to this is, just like any good systems implementation project we're all a part of, is I think it's really important that these programs involve the experts from the business.
Oh, yeah.
If you give it to a data scientist on the side who doesn't frankly understand the business, and they're just ideating like, oh, look at the cool stuff I can make the data do, but it doesn't actually drive the business process, it doesn't actually solve the problems, then you're just wasting the time and energy.
Yeah.
So it really takes those experts from the business to really help guide those studies to make sure you're focused on the things that matter.
Yeah, and maybe that brings me to another topic I can share. So kind of keys to success or pitfalls when you do these type of programs. I've been involved in probably 50 PLM transformations over the years, cross-industry, cross-scope, around the planet. And there's some themes that
we call you like the godfather of
I don't know.
PLM at this point,
I'm
Kevin?
just glad I'm not in a witness protection program at this point. So I think there's some themes I want to pass on, because and you're hitting on one of them, which is the core challenge of this space, which I love, is maybe I'll get an audience participation. Who owns the digital thread at your company, or who owns end-to-end product data?
Business, IT, yeah.
Is it a single human? No one. There we go. It's no one or it's everyone, depending on if you're touching their piece of it or not. So the key to success I've found as you focus on improvement projects and implementations in this space is a few things. One is you need to focus on what is the mission, right? To your point, like this isn't a science project. Like what is the actual mission we're trying to accomplish? What are the benefits we're going to have when this mission is over? And then the most important thing then, once that's clear, is do you have governance for your program that is bigger than your mission, right? If you want to touch product marketing, if you want to touch all the way down to service, that's probably a lot of different vice presidents, right? IT is obviously throughout it all, but IT also doesn't even own all of these tools in some cases. So you need to build your governance model that is bigger than your ambition and your scope. And if you try to do it without that, it's going to be a struggle, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's number one. The second thing maybe I'll talk about as far as success for projects is we get very obsessed about the features and the functions and the shiny object. Getting a project done at a company, unless it's a greenfield, which most companies aren't. Yep. If it's a brownfield, you have replacements. You need to focus on deployment and adoption from day zero. And when I talk about deployment, I like to use this analogy. We've all been disrupted by some type of roadworks project in our world, right? And people can paint the picture of the shiny highway, and it's like, that highway is going to be awesome when it's done. I want that highway. However, the genius in a construction project is not designing that superhighway. It's designing the 10 interim states that have roads going wherever they need to go, disrupting the world for some period of time so you can keep the world running. This is when I talk about deployment, is how are you going to cut over, how are you going to migrate, how are you going to adjust, and do the sponsors realize that to get the shiny highway, you kind of need to deal with this construction for a while. So to me, please focus on deployment from day zero and your strategy about doing that. And then the second, you hit the nail on the head of adoption. I have seen a lot of PLM projects be built. They're fantastic. The features are there. And the business ultimately says,
no thanks.
No thanks. You can't turn off email. You can't turn off Excel, et cetera. So please involve your business participants from day zero. Have them involved in requirements, conference room pilots, testing cycles, and focus on adoption from the start. Because that's how you get your money back. Otherwise, if it's not adopted, it's a sunk cost that maybe you could have done something else with.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. All right, well, I think we're just here about at time. Kevin, thank you very much for driving here.
Oh, it's awesome,
yep.
Yeah. You stamp my valet pass?
That's right. Well, we will, of course will. And United Airlines hopefully will forgive us for having you on an airplane today.
That's very good. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.